Alright, we're on.
Oh, we're good.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's about 12:09. We're a little bit behind schedule here, but we are City Talk Fall River. I am Trot.
And I'm Derek.
Nikki might be with us.
Well, I mean, she said she would, if she can get back into the city in time. She's at a charity event out of the state, I believe. I believe she is in Rhode Island.
Okay.
So
she's not what? She's not Fall River now. No, she needs to stay in Fall River to prove that she cares about Fall River more than any other place in the world.
Dude, what happened?
I don't understand. You're not gonna get me this time.
Oh man,
you're not gonna get me this time.
Wow, he's quick.
You almost did again. No, you almost did again.
Oh,
shout out to Mike De Oliveira from Necessary Media.
Necessary.
You know, I wish Mike would just drop Necessary Media and just come here and hang out with us on Saturday.
Then we can rename the whole thing to Necessary City Talk and start at episode 1 again.
Nikki said that if I ever get on the city council that she would not run City Talk Fall River anymore. It would be a different podcast altogether. Because the podcast City Talk Fall River, she says it's not going to be it without yours truly. I think it should be, to be honest with you. I think it should remain, whether I get in or not, which, you know, if I keep on talking about not voting for the school, you know, the payment for the school, then I think that I won't get elected for anything, ever. But
this is, I'm telling you, this has seriously just been one big cluster. I wanted to use other words, but I think cluster, you know what, yeah, it's just been one big ball of propaganda both ways. So
what has bothered you the most and what has been good about this process so far? Oh, by the way, I went to Sam's and we are enjoying this wonderful, wonderful bread with the seasoning on it. I forgot the name of it.
Toast. It's the toasted stuff, and it's like crack.
Yeah.
I think we need a drug czar just to take this thing away from us because this is addicting. No, but all right. So
that drug czar will get a raise.
No, as long as it's not anything around $40,000 a year, we'll be good.
Nothing's taken for granted around.
Yeah, I know. So one of the positives that I like about this is that a lot of information's been coming out. You have to understand, there was somebody that did citizens input a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was. I can't remember the last city council meeting.
A teacher, if I'm not mistaken.
No. It was not a teacher. It was another radio online personality. And this person brought light to the fact that although the number that has been talked about for the city side is, I believe, 98 million. I believe that was the number. However, that number is somewhere closer to 180 million after all of the interest is factored in. Now, you gotta understand, anytime we put a bond in, there's always going to be interest figured into this. So that goes for any bond that goes to the city council, and that goes for any bond that goes for anything that they go for. You know, so you bond for $1 million, you're going to be paying more than $1 million. That's not a secret. And if anybody is completely shocked into that, that's pretty bad, pathetic that you don't know how actual borrowing works.
Just try not to insult people in the process.
I'm sorry, but I mean, it's common sense. You know, you're going to borrow money, you have to pay it back with interest. That's kind of...
Okay, so just say that part.
But this person is kind of really hemming and hawing on the fact that, hey, you know, we're being told this number, but it's really that. Well, yeah, obviously you have interest to pay back, just like every other bond.
I actually think that he has a point, though, that we should know the full cost.
Right, but then you have the spin that's about to come after that.
Yes,
which was the very next person who came up, who said, well, now, if that's the case, and we're only getting 168 million, 163, 165 million roughly from the MSBA, then it's not going to be a 62-38 split, it's a 52-48 split. And I'm like, well, no, that's not true either, because they're borrowing money to pay us, so they got to pay that back too. So here's the thing, you have both sides borrowing money, you have both sides paying back interest. So at the end of the day, if you're going to compare putting an amount that we're borrowing with interest versus just an amount that we're being awarded where the whole state has to pay the interest back, That's not fair either. So I understand the point of being truthful in the fact that, hey, look, you have to pay back this X amount of money with the interest. But if you're going to say that, you got to put the other. You got to say, hey, the other side's got to do the same. You know, it's like solving a math equation. If you whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Okay, that's the whole point. And I was trying to Matlock it. We've been bringing this back in, but that's one of the positives that I have out of this. The negative that I have of this is I hate the spin that's coming out of all of this. If you vote no, we're not going to get the school. If you vote no. The vote is for the exclusion. Somehow, some way, I think that they're still going to proceed. It's just going to be a matter of, do they add money to the quarterly taxes? Do they add a line item to the quarterly taxes so we can pay for it, or do they have to find other means to take care of this? I mean, I think that people need to really start telling the whole truth and not half truths on both sides, because somewhere in the middle there is a truth.
You know what is true? It's too expensive.
Very. It's extremely expensive. I'd like to know how Lowell is paying less money. I believe they're paying less money for a school that's a little bit bigger. I know why, but it's a little bit bigger, houses more students, and they're paying less for it versus us. But now you have to understand the unreimbursable costs are what's killing us here, such as the upgrades to the pool, upgrades to the field house, upgrades to the auditorium, the fields, the bell tower. All of that stuff is stuff that the school won't, as the MSBA won't cover. So okay, that's fine. But now, as a body, we have to, as the body that's determining all of this, we have to determine what is acceptable and what is not. So that's why I think the way that all of this happened, even though it's taken some years, I'm hoping, because I don't know the whole story. I'm hoping that the best plan was taken with two things in mind. With one, the students, because they're the ones that are going to be utilizing this facility, and the taxpayers, because we have to pay for this.
Wait, who?
The taxpayers.
I don't think they're not part of the equation.
I'm pretty sure that they weren't, but that's where the problem lies.
None of these people make decisions thinking about the taxpayers.
But that's
all right.
But that's where the problem lies.
First of all, if you're offended that people don't know interest is on, a project, then I think that you should also know that when they think of these projects,
yes, we know,
they do not think of the taxpayers.
We know this.
My computer almost exploded when you said that word, just because of how against the law it is to actually say such things. Almost exploded, but it's high, it's fast speed, frequency, computer, so it's good.
Wow.
Yeah, my problem with this is that you do have a lot of information out there, which can be good.
It could also be.
It depends on who's giving the information sometimes, right? But at the same time, you have people who are framing things a certain way. So, Derek, are you voting yes to this or no to this?
Well, no.
All right. So there's groups of people out there that are willing to shell out lots of money to put, billboards up there, and they're on social media and they're pushing the yes vote, right? But if you want to vote no, you are deemed, or you are framed as a person that does not care about children, right?
They can say that.
You've been framed as the person that is not informed enough on the information, right?
And they have every right to say that.
So they're saying two things. They're saying you don't know enough about the information, and you don't care about kids.
Well,
that's how they're selling. That's how they're combating the no vote.
No. You said it exactly how you said.
Selling.
You said the word. How it's being sold. Now let's step back for a second. I don't have any kids that are in the Florida school system. I don't have any kids of my own. Let me rephrase that.
That's a whole other thing.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wait. I have no kids that are in the Florida of my own that are in the Florida school system. However, I have 2 nephews and a niece that are still in the Florida school system. That are in the school system within Fall River. I'll say that. They may opt to go to Durfee in. I gotta think. My oldest nephew is in 6th grade, so he'll be there in 2 years. So he will see, if he goes there, the new Durfee.
Mm-hmm.
My twin niece and nephew is in kindergarten. They're in 1st grade. They will definitely see the new Durfee, which won't be so new at that point. Now, you can say whatever you want about me not liking kids, or me not caring about education. Remember,
you're not informed.
No, I'm not informed.
Yes.
However, just remember, I am a product of Durfee. 4 years, class of '99, red and black in my veins till I die. Well, just
wow.
All right.
Talk about selling something there, buddy.
All right. Look.
Wow.
I am a Durfee.
I'm so glad we're recording this. I may play that over and over again from now on.
But here's the reason why I'm voting no. I would say about 40 plus years ago, they built a school called BMC Durfee High School of Fall River.
You want to make sure you get that name right.
Yeah, I know. I got it. There are people. Hold on. There was a school that was built that was called the BMC Durfee High School of Fall River. And people went to jail because of the construction of that school. Because it was poorly done.
There were people that were literally robbing you too. They were talking about measurements of sidewalks being a certain level, and then they're shaving off a little bit, and they were saving tons of money on not spending that money.
All right.
Yeah, they were and they got caught though. At least they got some of them got caught. I'm sure there was some other people that didn't.
But here's something that never came out. No one ever said, or no one had the wherewithal back in the 70s, I guess, when this thing opened up, being like, hey, we gotta find a way to keep this thing looking good.
You mean there wasn't a plan to maintain the property?
I like to consider it as making a plan to continue making the building to keep it looking good.
I'm going to tell you this. I like the fact that you snapped your finger.
Well, hold on a second. I know you. I know where you're going to go, but hold on.
That was cool.
I gotta snap.
Yeah, you snapped. Hey.
I still have not heard of a maintenance plan for this new proposed school.
Not to say that there isn't one. The public just has not seen it.
But for full disclosure, it would be in the best interest of the group that is for the school to show us, hey, we're going to utilize your tax money and additional tax monies that are going to be coming through this debt exclusion to fund this school. Our tax money already funds many aspects of the school, such as the teacher's salary and all that other stuff. We would like to know what kind of maintenance is going to be done, preventative maintenance, I should say, is going to be done to the school once it is built, so something like this does not happen again, and that we don't have to go down the road for another 40 years and ask for another school. Because here's what's going to happen. They're going to build a school right on the side of it. Okay? 40 years later, they're going to build a school right where the old one used to be. They're going to keep flip-flopping that thing over and over and over again. I don't want to see that, and that's why I'm voting no. I want to know, what are you going to do to take care of this time? Who's going to be held responsible when it's not taken care of? And, well, the problem is that we can say who's going to be held responsible. It doesn't matter. The city of Fall River doesn't hold any responsibility to anybody. So there's way too many things that I don't like. And look, like I said, I'm a damn graduate of the school, and you know what? I don't hate kids. I just can't see it. Red and black runs through my veins. Remember, but I don't hate kids.
It's a shame you even have to say that.
I know.
Man.
I don't hate kids. I love Durfee. I still vote no for it because there's no plans. I don't like it. Sorry.
All right, so this whole thing about if you vote no, you don't care about the kids, or there's another narrative that starts up is what the kids deserve. The kids deserve a new school, and that's what's being told. And also, not only do they deserve a new school, but like the only alternative is to either pay out of pocket without any reimbursement, or pay to repair the current school, which is basically unrepairable and a complete waste of everyone's money. It's going to be well over $100 million. So you're only, and again, I use the term frame. Framing it kind of puts everything in a position where you don't have any maneuverability to actually have any extra thought or new ideas to this situation. They're only framing it in a way that you can only think. And I personally don't think you need to be framing anything. If you do not want to pay for a school, you could or at least you don't want to pay this much for a new school, I should say. You could very well propose that we pay for a school that costs less, that stays within the 2.5% tax levy. If we could do that, we could also. I'm just saying, Nikki talked about it. I talked a little bit about it. I think you maybe talked a little bit about it. We have other properties in the city. We could probably have more than one high school in the city if people wanted that. But it's not something that people even bringing up or talking about. What's up?
I say no. I say you can't do it.
Why not?
Well, let's think of it this way. You have, let's just say you do have two different high schools in this city.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say. So you're going to split the kids between two different buildings. Now, for me, in Durfee, you have a wide variety of students. Some who are the honors kids, some who are the college level prep kids, some who, let's be honest, just want to get by and get through 4 years of school and move on. And then you have the guys that, just won't make it. I'm sorry. You want to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. You have those guys that are career high school students.
All right, get to the point.
So, if you try to make two different schools, now you're going to have teachers that are going to choose between one and another, one school versus the other.
Uh-huh.
Those students that want to have that high level, that have those teachers at that high level, well, now they're going to have to choose. Damn it. Now
you cut me off for this?
Now they're going to have to pick and choose which school they're going to want to go to. So that means one school is going to have these teachers, they're going to be a high level, and then the other schools, what? They're not going to have that? That's why putting them all together in the same building. Now you have everyone in the same building. That's what you're going to get. I understand the theory and the logic. It kind of makes sense though, but you can't. I don't think you can do it. I really don't think you can do it.
Okay, I was just throwing it out there as an idea.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I think there needs to be. There was never any discussion about it, at least on a public forum.
Right.
Because even if you present some problems, there's ways to get around problems if you continue to have a discussion about it and to make planning and all that other stuff. So I'm not saying that this is what we should do. I'm saying we never even had a chance to have a conversation about it. It all started in 2012, which was not that long ago, and this is what we ended up with. We ended up with a property that's $264 million, or just under $264 million, with a reimbursement that was sold at one point as 80-20, then it was 75-25, and now it ends up being 62.5 to 37.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the whole thing just progressed into now it's a situation where you have to go over the 2.5% tax threshold, which is what municipalities are only allowed to extend tax increases above. So you are really, really, really kind of just, in my opinion, the public just gets blindsided with this, and then it's their only option. And then they're telling you, if you don't like this option, you hate kids. You don't think kids deserve a new school, or you think that we need to keep the school that we have, which is an abomination altogether. Again, I don't think we need to just keep on being stuck in this one frame. They should have thought about the taxpayers before they put this together. They didn't. I don't even think it was. I think it was not even an afterthought. They just said, "This is the price. This is what you're paying, and that's that." And I don't really know if the taxpayers deserve this. You know, maybe the kids do deserve a new school. I think they definitely deserve a new school. But do taxpayers have to pay above the tax threshold to pay for that? You're looking at, do kids also deserve public safety? Do kids also deserve, I don't know, a clean city? We just were cleaning a bunch of mess this morning, right? We don't even have enough money to do anything when it comes to snow removal. That's a mess. We're so badly strapped with money, we have to go build and advocate for a health center for city workers. But yet we're ready to go right above because of a concept that the kids deserve this school. The kids deserve a new school. Yes. They deserve a safe school. Yes. But we can't build a new safe school without going over the tax levy? Because that's really what this comes down to. It's how it's being paid for. And when do you start to care about how things are paid for? When do we care about that? Because everyone who advocates for purple bags, all you people out there that advocate for purple bags, it's a fundraiser, it's this, it's that, how are we going to take care of our child? How are we going to pay for this? Right, great. You don't understand the reason why you got those purple bags in the first place. There was a, 25 to 30 year ignorance of what was going on over there at the
landfill, yeah.
Right. It was another set of mismanagement that got you to have to pay for those things that you love so much. Now, you're going to have to, again, we're stuck with mismanagement 40 years ago. And now you have to pay. You want to keep on going down the same pattern again, over and over again, and then demonizing the people that are trying to say, hey, let's scale this back? I can't understand it. I never will.
The other argument that I love to hear is the kids deserve a better learning opportunity, a better chance to learn, a better chance to succeed.
They do.
They do. But is a new school going to really do that?
Interesting you say that.
So let me ask you this, because I don't think we need to go as far as building a new school for kids. Let's just take an average driver. Okay, driver, he or she does okay on the road, has a few speeding infractions, maybe he's gotten into an accident, paying a good amount in insurance. Do you think if they were to get a brand new car, they were automatically going to turn into the most model driver in the world? No, they're not. They have habits that they need to deal with. They have maybe a lead foot that they can't stop the speeding. Maybe they just get into accidents. So do you think building a brand new school for students that can't do it on a educational level is going to automatically make them think, oh man, I got the power to freaking be smart? No, it's not going to happen. So that argument right there can go straight out the window. Now, I understand you want to give the kids the opportunity to be there. Give them the opportunity to have that, to excel. But I already said it before, the only kids that are really going to probably take that opportunity are the ones that are in the honors level classes, maybe the college prep level classes, and hey, maybe one of those one or two kids that are like just there to get by, maybe they're gonna put in an extra effort because it's brand new. You can't force a kid to do better with a brand new school. They need to do that on their own. So that argument holds no weight whatsoever with me. And if anybody's going to try to say that I hate kids because of that, well then, whatever. But let's be real here. You know, and I find it very interesting that you still have the picture of George Thompson. Let's be real, as he would love to say.
What goes on in the classroom matters more than what type of building they're learning in.
Damn right.
And I think that if you have this much money to put into a property, then why are we still scrapping for funds in our school to provide for our education? Why are we still doing that? Why is that still a problem? Why are we still playing tug of war between the fire department, police department, the maintenance department, and the education department? Why are we still playing tug of war if you have $264 million you can drop on a property that doesn't do an ounce of teaching at all? Why are we even doing this? Why are teachers threatened with their jobs with pink slips every year, every budget year we see, besides this last year? Why are we scrapping to pay for our net school spending so much and things like that when there's $264 million of a property that they want to build in Durfee that again, or in Fall River, that again doesn't teach a single child anything? I think the people that are teaching, I think the classrooms themselves, the products, the resources, all those things, the $264 million would be better invested in the actual education. If you truly care about the kids, in my opinion, that's your argument. Why is 264 going to this property rather than to the kids, to the classroom themselves? Why are you forcing Fall River taxpayers to pay for this, and now they have to figure out how are they going to come up with the next funds the next time the fire department gets depleted, or the police department needs more people? Or how about when there's another crazy thing that happened, like with the water? You know what I mean? Like the as a matter of fact, we have to pay more for that. I just realized, right? Huh?
So is that what you're trying to
go? No.
Right.
Something else. There was something else. Why am I drawing a blank over here? It's because I'm not paying attention as much as I should be. But
I'm trying to think of where you're going with this right now.
There was a water plant. The water plant.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm trying to get the race. I'm trying to get the
right.
I'm trying to get the whole story of this.
Well, you just voted for it.
The bond, the $130 some odd
yes.
$1 million bond. Yes. Okay.
Yep. No, not water. Water treatment. There it is. The water treatment plant right here. Everyone voted on that. But I'm just saying, like, that's it right there. The water treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant. So we just voted for that, to pay for that, because why? We need water. If we vote no, do you care about kids? No. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, everything gets framed as you don't care. But here we are shelling out for everything. And now, even though we ended up paying for this wastewater treatment plant, now we have this school. And there's going to be something else, guys. We're talking about 30 years. There's going to be something else.
I'm gonna tell
you have to be responsible with your money. And I just think that this is a mistake.
I'm gonna tell you right now. There's going to be another school that's going to come up probably within the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the Talbot. It's going to be Talbot Middle School. I guarantee it. Do you realize that school?
It's a little old.
Well, no. Well, yes, it is. But do you realize that school goes through over $2 million in electricity because that's how they heat their building? They use electricity for heat. It's over $2 million, and if you take yeah, are you gonna say I hate kids? Because I went to Talbot too.
I was gonna say that we could do solar panels if we actually turned them on.
Well, that's I actually, you know what? I think they did mention that. I don't know if they can or cannot do that.
Do you remember Morton?
Of course, I remember Morton.
You remember how they had solar panels and they didn't turn them on for like 2 years?
That's sad.
You know about that, right?
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
But look, here's the thing. You're gonna have another school. There's always gonna be another school, and then what's gonna happen? I mean, it's just going to continue.
All the more reason why you have to plan for what you do, and you also have to start supporting some of these programs where whoever it is, whether it's the mayor, state rep, whoever it is that's out there, that's trying to increase the revenue in the city without burdening the taxpayer. So you may have to rethink some of these things with the billboards. You may have to rethink some of these things with selling water, some of these contracts that are out there, some of the things that's going on out there. We have to figure out, yes, care about the environment when it comes to the water. Care about the environment, yes, absolutely. If what we're doing impedes on that, then we handle it accordingly. we've already had this discussion about Burrillville, Rhode Island. The plant's not even being made. I'm pretty sure the plant's not even going to be made within the period that we sell the water. So I'm pretty sure that water's not even going to go anywhere towards anything bad. But if it is, it is, and we can adjust to that, I guess, if we want to as a city. But that doesn't mean we shut down opportunities to make money, because again, if you're going to advocate to put this much on taxpayers, you got to start advocating just as hard and just as much to start bringing money into the city outside of the taxpayer wallet. So that's all I request. You want us to spend a bunch of money? All right, then start efforts to start making a bunch of money. That's all I can. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right?
I mean, that's so much easier said than done, though. And
of course.
And you know for a fact that I guarantee that if it was other mayors that were in the position that said that said this, city councilors would be all about it.
If it was a city councilor themselves that came up with the idea,
they'd be all about it. But you have the people who want to stonewall the idea, such as Seat 1.
Really?
Please.
Well, he came up with a really great way of getting more revenue into the tax base. You know what he did? He said that we could sell purple bags, right? And we could take the local receipts and put it back into the general fund. I call that a tax raise, but no, he calls it a pretty impressive, way of raising money.
You mean an illegal tax?
It's an illegal tax.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So once again, number one is just whatever.
You don't think that Seat 1 doesn't? You think he doesn't like the administration?
No, I don't think. And something about him just, I don't know. It's hard to put.
Seat number 1 is Sean Kadim, everyone.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that even when he was council president, he had a really, really hard time getting along with the mayor and the administration.
Yeah. Well, I just think that he's
and older ladies.
Oh yeah.
He had a problem getting along with them too.
Oh yeah. That's true.
And laughing, and clapping,
and cheering,
and talking. He had a problem with a lot of things.
He needed absolute silence.
It was like a golf match.
Golf clap?
No, don't clap.
Oh, that's right. We couldn't even do that,
folks. So I think that we need to really, really start thinking about. All right, if you really want the city to spend this much money. Let's just say I think it's going to pass, right? So let's just say it passes, and now we're doing a debt exclusion, and we're now going over to 2.5% to pay for things, right? Now we got a 30-year bond. They said they can cut it down, because we're really good fiscally informed. We can start cutting bills down.
Right, so let me stop you there for a second.
Yeah, you've been cutting me off the entire time. I just want you to know that, Derek.
I know.
All right.
So what the administration said...
Is this your pen?
That's not mine.
Okay.
What they said was that under the current schedule, under the current payback schedule that they have for all of their debt, they said that after approximately 8 or 9 years, I want to say it was 8 years, could have been 9, once this line item gets put into city taxes, that they would be able to fully absorb the taxpayer side under the debt payments. So wait a minute. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Once again, where do they get the money to pay for all that stuff?
I want you to know that it's in the newspaper that they got the number right, 98.5 million.
Okay, but hold on, but where did they get the money to pay the debt back and everyone else and go? Oh, that's right, they get it through the citizens and the taxpayers.
No, Derek, if it rains a certain kind of way and clouds start to form in the sky,
what kind? Nimbus or cumulus?
I think it's cumulonimbus clouds.
Cumulonimbus.
If they can
nerdle it, everyone. We're getting nerdy right now.
I was a meteorologist for 9 years. I've been.
He's also pushing the glasses back on his face.
No. If you can get droplets to form a certain kind of way, it can come down as money. Have you heard the term "make it rain"? Have you ever heard the term "make it rain" before? That's exactly where it comes from, Derek. What? You don't think this is a true story? You think I'm faking?
Yes.
Okay, it's fake news. No, so we are in a situation where we don't have any other way right now of paying for this outside of the taxpayer dollars. Nothing else. There's nothing else. Taking into account the interest over the life of the 30-year bond, the city's taxpayers within the regular tax levy and debt exclusion would actually pay around $181,812,450 in total costs for the new Durfee. City officials have said it may be possible that the tax override expense could be eliminated after 8 years due to other projects coming off the books. I like that official term, other projects coming off the books.
Quote unquote. Now, hold on a second.
Yep. That's exactly what it says.
No, that's.
You're gonna pull out the whole article where they talk about the whole thing?
I gotta pull out the calculator for.
Oh, you're gonna pull out the calculator?
I gotta pull out the calculator for a second. Hold on. 98.5 divided by 181.8. Okay. So, in payments of interest, we're paying about 50 out of that $181 million that we're fully paying back. That's 54%. That's over half. Like half of it is the loan amount, and the other half is interest.
Other projects coming off the books.
That's ridiculous. I mean,
we're gonna say that other projects are coming off the books, and no other projects are gonna come into the books, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. There's no other project that are gonna go on the books.
There's no other projects coming into the books.
No, none at all.
Now we will maybe see some revenue coming in if they expand over there at the. They've just sold the property, right? The auction went through, and we may get 26 low income. I'm sorry. What is it? Affordable
single family homes.
Yeah,
that'll be affordable.
Single family homes and all that stuff. Did I say single Hambly?
Hamel.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Hamble?
I don't know.
That was good.
That was weird.
That was funny.
Moving on.
Single family homes. I think I said family and homes at the same time. I ended up with Hambly.
Hambly Foams.
Yes.
Yes, that's what it was.
So anyway, that could bring in some revenue. I'm not saying that there's not other opportunities. And hey, maybe people start to come to their senses and start getting this billboard money in. And you could maybe start paying for some of these things. Maybe. If it's the figures that they say it is. Because we don't know for sure if you're going to bring home, what was it, $20 million over the next so many years?
Yeah,
for the billboards.
Here's the other piece of this that no one wants. Here's the other piece of this that nobody wants to talk about. What if this project doesn't stay on track? What if this project? I think they said they were supposed to open in 2021.
Nope, 2019. And then doors open in September.
No.
Oh, okay.
Starts in 2019.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
Wow. Real quick. Mm-hmm. So what if the doors don't open in 2021 and they have to wait a whole other year? You realize that the cost of that is going to kill us?
From what I understand, this building is state of the art. It actually builds itself, so it'll be fine. It's almost like a transformer type thing. It's pretty amazing.
Not like a Decepticon, but that's alright.
No, yeah, the taxation will definitely be deceptive.
Well, I was going to say a lot of this is deceptive. So,
if that's what you guys want to pay for, it's coming. So, one way or the other, it's coming.
March 6th.
I actually think the city would be smarter to be modest on a high school and then go big on a 4-year college. Because now you're talking about an entity as a college that can, by its nature, as long as it's a reputable college, by nature, it can bring money in, and it can consistently bring money in. Again, I say a reputable college. So,
other than reputable?
It's the same thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reputable.
Reputable? Because whenever I hear that, I think of ill repute. Mm-hmm. and reputable or reputable. I don't know. Whatever. I'll take. Well, you're the one.
We're talking about the words.
Yeah. Well, you have the master's degrees, and you're much more advanced.
We could say a nice college, a college with a good reputation.
There you go.
Yeah, fine. Either way, I don't know why we just spent 3 seconds talking about
Don't know.
that. But seriously, I think that if we actually went modest on a high school, not modest, like completely modest where like, you got buckets catching rainwater, like maybe City Hall, but you could, right? Was I wrong?
You mean like they have
like they actually do have in City Hall? Yes, exactly.
You mean, like how the school is acting right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there we go.
No, keep it within the tax levy. That's all I'm saying. Get a new school, keep it into a levy that we can actually afford it with our tax dollars instead of going over the tax threshold. And then from there, invest and see if the city wants to invest in a 4-year college that provides something the public needs. So that way, that makes it unique from UMass Dartmouth and Bridgewater, and makes it more, I think, more along the lines of MIT and New England Tech and things like that. That's my personal opinion. Or maybe even a med school or something like that, but something that is going to consistently bring in 18, 19-year-olds that are just out of high school, that want to go to college, that are going to be in the neighborhood, that are going to be in the community. You look at any city in the country, I would say, I'm just going to estimate, at least 80% of the cities in this country that have a good, reputable college around them has a good economy around it.
It's a really good estimation.
Right. It has a good economy around it. It has stores that are being used. It has malls. I mean, even, you go to Taunton, the mall's almost dead out that way.
Go to Swansea.
Yeah, go to Swansea, it's almost dead. Go to Dartmouth, still jumping. Still a lot of traffic.
Well, right. But hold on. A lot. They redid a lot.
So throwing things. Okay.
No, they redid a lot in Dartmouth, and I remember when Dartmouth was the ghost town, and Swansea was alive, and Taunton was alive. Now, they put money into Dartmouth, and now it's alive again.
You still have you have large groups of people every year going to that area because of the college itself.
That's true.
You have the law school right around the corner from there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right up the street.
These things are always consistently going to bring interest as long as they are good schools.
Correct.
And I think that if we actually put that investment there, and still, because how are you going to have a 4-year college if your high school is completely falling apart? I get that. So again, I say, find a good number that you can work with for the high school that can keep it within the tax levy, and then go big on the college, because the college is going to bring in more money. It's just that simple. It provides a great product. As long as it provides a great product, a good 4-year degree, or pre-med or pre-law, something like that, as long as it can provide people something valuable that they can use in the future, like a college is supposed to do, then you have, not only do you have an improvement in your education system, you're going to have an improvement in your economy at the same exact time. That should be the investment if you want to go big. That's my opinion. Just a guy grew up in Fall River maybe. But I do know that this would be the right choice for Fall River. But nobody is even putting that on the table. I think we're going in a complete opposite direction. For one thing, this is going to end up being $98.5 million. You're being sold a bill of goods if you think that that's going to be, that tax override expense is going to be eliminated in 8 years due to other projects coming off the books. Because it's Fall River. There's a project around every corner, man. And I just think we're being sold a really, really, really bad bill of goods on this. It went too high. It got out of hand. It can happen. I don't even know if this is true, but Carlos Caesar, who is the president of the Flint Neighborhood Association, posted something on his social media that said that Superintendent Matt Malone said, if you can't afford this school, move to Russia.
That's true. He said that.
Do you know that for sure?
He said, I believe he said that on the News Hour, if I'm not mistaken.
Unbelievable.
I would have to go back, but it was definitely said.
Matt Malone has done a good job from what I've heard. Done a really good job at the schools, but that was just a really dumb thing to say.
Oh yeah, I mean, just he's done a really great job with the school system. Very, 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 very good job with it. But that one comment destroyed so much good that he's done.
Gentrification is something that I think I've heard rumblings of it. You know, again, I don't want to sit here and talk about the city council all the time, but when I ran 2 years, the 2 times that I've run, I've gone around the city. I've gone all over, up and down, north end, south end, east, west, whatever you want to go. I've had conversations in every part of the city. I've heard a grumbling of, if people can't afford to live here, get them out. I've heard grumblings. And even if you think about what Steve Long was talking about when he first came on as a city councilor, talking about we're not going to take on any more public housing, we're not going to take on the poor people of other neighborhoods, of other cities around us, there's a little bit of a rumbling of wanting to push out the low-income population, which is gentrification, and bringing in people who can more likely afford. What are you doing, Derek?
I'm standing.
I always got something going on.
I don't want to sit. I want to stand.
I just think that gentrification is possibly going to become a more common theme by certain groups of people in the city. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, not too long ago, they had the Riverview apartments where they were, you know, they were afraid that they were going to get kicked out. And, you know, there's still stuff that's going on right now that, you know, that could potentially happen. So the idea that this is happening, or the fact that people want to try to say that it's not happening, it's not true. Because I guarantee you, given the opportunity to kick all of those people out, just so they can try to bring in a group of people so that make more money, that can put more to the tax base, they'll do it. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs. That's where it's going to go, or that's where people want it to go, I should say. But you know, you have people that have lived here all their lives. This is what they know. This is where they grew up. They potentially could have helped build this city.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yes. And now, as a thank you, what are we doing? There's the door. That's the mentality that some people have. It's a really crappy mentality, but that's what's happening. It's a shame.
So I'm going with this. Oh, okay. So there's photos on the Herald News that talks about it, and I know there was a video where Alan Sylvia and Jason Correa were talking to the tenants of the Riverview Towers, and this is again.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. This is just another situation again where, you know, the poor population in Fall River is being targeted. It's sad to say, it's sad to even feel that, but it just, when you look at the school situation and you got people coming out saying if you can't afford it, you got to move. And then you got, oh, we want to make this property into something for, you know, this specific group of people. Little by little, not even little by little anymore, it's starting to become a little bit more commonplace. The poor population is starting to be targeted in Fall River. They've made it more expensive to live. And so therefore, because people are complaining about the expenses, there's been a little push here and a little push there, and you know, you got to pay a little extra for this, and you got to pay a little extra for that, and then the next thing you know, you have people who can, the haves, and people who cannot, the have-nots, and that's basically where we're getting to right now,
right,
in Fall River, the haves and the have-nots, and I actually think I qualify for someone that can afford things, but I really think that this is a sad, sad situation that we're even contemplating, and we're having people publicly going out there saying, if you can't afford to live here, move.
Let's start with a city council meeting. Remember a city council?
I thought that's what you were talking about before, but that was a teacher. Wasn't that a teacher?
That was an actual teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's shameful. I mean, I don't understand how anybody can get off saying that. If you don't love this city, if you don't love the city, then move out. Or if you can't afford it, move out. I'm like, wow, it takes a set to say that. Now, going into that meeting that they had, there was a lot of elderly that, you know, as they said, you know, they were saying that, you know, they're paying about 20 to 30% of their annual income to live there. And it was getting to the point where you have people that are making decisions of getting food or getting medications because that's how strapped they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's shameful that this is what it's coming down to. Feed yourself or allow yourself to get sick. Feed yourself or don't get the medications that you need to move on to the next day or to continue to make yourself feel better. It's bad. I mean, thankfully, I've been fortunate enough to be employed with a company for a long time. They treat me very well. Thankfully, I have not had to experience what these guys are experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thank God every day that I have the ability to go out there, work, and have a great job and a great company to work for. But I would absolutely be freaked out of my mind if that was my decision on a daily basis. Eat or pay for my meds. It's crazy. It's just a very, very sad state of affairs.
Market rate.
Market rate. Hashtag market rate.
I don't have a problem with wanting to bring in new people into the city, but there's got to be a better way to do it.
Not at the expense
Yes.
of those that have put so much into the city, and now you're just telling them, get out.
I just think any human being that has been in the city has a right to still continue to exist in the city, whether they're rich, poor, or whatever. You can't have a government agenda to push out people. You just can't do it. It won't work. It won't last. It's not a method of progress. That's just a method of intervene. Like it's just impeding on people's rights. You know, I can't think of how that is going to be what Fall River is about or what is going to benefit Fall River. But you now literally have, and I'm hoping that this isn't true, man. But if that was on the news hour, I want to hear it. I want to see it. But if he really did say something like that, I mean, that's just disgusting.
Son.
Yeah.
Move to Russia.
I don't even understand.
That's just like I said. But we can go back and forth, and we can say, hey, look, Superintendent Malone has done so many good things for the teachers, for the students, for the school system. But one comment like that just can destroy your reputation.
Yeah. Superintendent Matt Malone said Wednesday's vote. So the vote was held by the Massachusetts School Building Authority Board, which is MSBA. The board of directors voted to approve funding for the school project. $165,084,900. That's what was awarded to help build the new Durfee. The Durfee property itself is going to be $263.5 million. So you factor in the math there. What we're stuck with paying
98.5.
98.5. And again, this is I've never ever heard of a more expensive property being less expensive to maintain. This is the first time I've ever heard this concept. People have been selling it that because this is, quote, state of the art, Derek, you work in technology,
Yes,
right?
I do.
How many years does it take for something that is state of the art to no longer be state of the art?
Well, nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow.
Right. You have the iPhone. What now?
I have iPhone 10.
Right. I have the 6.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 was state of the art about 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Let's see. So let's see. Last year was the 8.
Hmm?
The year before that was the 7.
Yep. About 2 years ago. No.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 years ago. Sure, we'll go with that.
Not state of the art anymore, right?
Nope.
It's a relic.
Well, I mean,
The 4 is a relic.
hey,
I know.
Hold on.
I know.
I had a friend that still had the 4 for a long time.
How dare I sit here and compare a high school to an iPhone? Well, they're both called state of the art, so I can. No. Stay on. So you're being sold that this is state of the art. Now, again, I have nothing against that. I'm not an expert on what is and isn't state of the art. I will say that I do know that technology keeps on advancing, and we cannot always afford to keep up with it.
Right.
Right? So I say this knowing that there should be a plan for maintenance. There should be a plan for upkeep. I do believe it exists, but the city's not been exposed to it.
Now, going to the point of what they say, like, you know, with this being newer, it's going to be cheaper to maintain. Like, let's take for example, you have a bunch of gears working, and you know, easiest thing to do is if you keep greasing all the way, all of the gears, keeps everything lubricated and all that stuff. That's the preventative maintenance. That's the cheap way to keep things maintained. Now, if you were to allow that to just keep going and eventually it broke down, well, now you have to replace gears. That's the expensive part of it. So that is what, nice. That's what I believe they mean. Do I agree with it? To an extent, but you have to understand, we need to find out what kind of preventative maintenance is going to be done. Is it going to be done weekly? Is it going to be done monthly? Is it going to be done when kids are out of school? Is it going to be done during school vacations? When is it going to be done? What's the schedule? What is it? I mean, that is all stuff that I think any taxpayer has the right to know, because guess who's funding this damn thing? We are. So if we don't know that part of it, does anybody think that people are voting no just for the fact of just saying
no? I think there are people out there that think that I'm voting no, or you're voting no, or people are voting no just because of the cost. I do think that that's the primary focus, but I also think that there's another primary focus, that the money, I think, could be better spent towards the actual real education of the children rather than the property and the building that they learn in.
Right.
I think that's the number one thing. I think that if we have this much money to spend on the property, then we should have used that funding to help improve the education system all around in the classroom. That's more important. I do think we need a new building. I do not agree with maintaining the current building. I do not agree with keeping that current building going. I actually think it should have been shut down a long time ago in 1998 when I graduated high school. But it's still there. People are still going to that school. And I think that we could probably afford a new school without going over the tax threshold. That's really just, that's basically what I think. I think we can afford a new school without going over the tax threshold, but that's something that makes me hate kids apparently, and I'm cheap and all this other stuff. So, what do I know? I do know that our tax money also pays for fire department. That was really depleted a couple of years ago, and I still think their buildings are all a mess for the most part. Mm-hmm. I don't think they have all the equipment they need. Nope. And God bless them, because they did a really great job this winter so far. And the police department has been doing a pretty good job. There was a person that got shot right in the middle of the street in South Main Street a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. Got just broad daylight. got shot.
Bang.
Right in the face. And he ran. They caught him. He's in custody now. And I'm thinking like, wow, here we are again. Police department doesn't always get the best reputation in Fall River, but they did their job. They got it done. I mean, you can't prevent someone from doing something that quickly, but they got him right away. You know what I mean?
They did.
And you bless them guys for what they have to go through. I saw the photo of that kid that it just hurts, man, to see that. He was what, 19?
19.
I mean, I can't even think. Like, that's just hard to watch. You know? That kid his life is completely gone.
Done.
His life was gone way before he got off the bus that day.
Yeah.
You know?
He woke up.
Yep.
With that thought in his mind, that's when at that point his life was done.
That's just a really, really scary situation.
He will never see another. He will never breathe another breath of free air. And
the problem, one of the big problems that I guess for me when it comes to perspective on this is that Chicago, LA, Florida, Boston, even Providence, things like this is happening all over the place. You know, I can't even fathom that. You know, it's not a black thing or a white thing or anything like that. I mean, although I will say this, Derek, as far as when I see a young black male, particularly because I was one, it bothers me to see that. I don't know why we're laughing right now, but it does bother me to see that. You know what I'm saying? Just because.
All right. I just put it all into context. Okay.
Yeah. No, it bothers me to see that. It does. It does. It bothers me to see that because it just. And I don't know. Maybe it happens to you if you saw a younger Portuguese male getting into trouble like that. I don't know. But for me, because of like how the media portrays black people. And TV portrays black people the majority of the time. You watch an episode of Law and Order or NYPD Blue or whatever them shows are, most of your criminal actors are African American. It just happens that way. And I just think that, you know, then you see this happen and you're like, damn, you know, you can't really look the other way. You just got to face the facts, man. It's happening, you know? Sucks. But anyway. I can't believe we laughed about that.
No. It's the way you said it, it's like, and I just caught and I caught what you meant.
Yeah.
It's like I used to be a young black man, like thinking like, and you're not.
Oh, I see.
That's what I. But then I'm like, okay, so yeah, now you're an older.
Now, based on this situation with, there was a really, really horrible situation that happened in Florida.
Very.
Right. 17 kids? 17
kids were killed. I believe there's still a handful more that are in critical condition. Yeah. If I remember correctly, the whole story with that was it was a former student that went in. He got an Uber to go to the school. So this Uber driver saw the fact that he had a bag, and in that bag was the gun. I'm just trying to figure out at what point. I mean, did he not know? I mean, was he a part of it? I mean, I don't get it. I mean,
you think there was more to it?
I don't know. I mean,
they said the kid belonged to a nationalist group, white nationalist group. That's what was said.
But no, it's just the fact that, you know, you go back to the kid from Florida who you know just blew another kid away. This kid in Florida woke up with this thought in mind, and not just woke up that morning. He had this premeditated and staged. So God only knows how many days he's had this on his mind. Could have been months, could have been weeks, could have been months. That this is how he was gonna do it. That's another kid that's never going to see the light of day.
I can't. Yeah, and that's sad too. Again, I know that I just because I can relate to being a young black male doesn't mean that I care more about one than the other. It's just what a life I've lived. I've lived that life. I grew up in a poor. I grew up in like 4 different projects and broke, and I could have easily been that kid jumping off the bus with a gun in his hand. You know what I mean?
But what made you not do it?
It's a weird combination of things. I think having certain people in your corner helps. Mm-hmm. You know, and not just family, but teachers and friends. You know, surround yourself with people that are keeping you out of trouble. You know, I don't think it was just one thing. Everyone can just say mom. You know, but I even think my mother knows that there was more going on than just her that helped me out. You know,
but at the end of the day, here's the reality is that you're gonna have all of that support.
Absolutely right.
Behind you, you're gonna have all of that support. There's still only going to be one person that has to make the decision.
Yes, sir.
To take the support and run with it, or to have that support and ignore it.
Absolutely.
And that's you.
Yep.
All right. So this kid could have had every bit of support, encouraging him to do better, to do all this, to do all that. And all it has to do is just say, no. And that's it.
Some things are more appealing than others to people. I mean, we as human beings, we have a tendency to want to look at the disaster. We have a tendency when, you know, if you hear police sirens, we have a tendency to jump up and look out the window rather than realize, wow, something dangerous might be happening out there. Mm-hmm. We may want to step back a little bit and let these people do their jobs. We are just kind of by nature inclined to permeate towards the what's wrong with things. And I think that certain kind of, you know, entertainment can become more appealing. The way people talk to each other can become more appealing. The more aggressive individuals that we see in our lives can become more appealing, you know, and instead of just the regular guy that goes to work every day and pays his bills and maybe goes to church or something like that, that person seems boring to them. That's not the role model they're looking for. And you end up with really bad role models, I think, sometimes. And now we're in 2018, right? So, you know, in 1985, 1986, when the young kid then was having a poor role model, that young kid who was having poor role models became a product of that, and now he becomes a father, or female becomes a mother, mm-hmm. And now they didn't even have. You know, that person in the 80s might have had somebody who was a good role model in their life at one point. Now, and it becomes a culture. You know, it becomes a culture of poor role modeling or even not having a role model at all. There's a lot of single parents out there. A lot of broken homes out there. Mm-hmm. And it just happens, you know. And the economy, right? The struggling economy. People are making money the only way they know how. And sometimes that goes with drugs, that goes with other things. So it just pulls you in a bad place. And again, I don't want to take responsibility away from the individual, because you're right. At the end of the day, the individual is the most responsible human being for it. The environment does have an effect. I think we'd be ignorant to not think the environment doesn't have an effect on us. But at the end of the day, you make your own decisions. And that boy knew what he was doing when he got off that bus. And just some sad stuff, man. But again, I want to tie it back to Fall River for a minute here. There was a threat on Snapchat that got a lot of people upset. Kids, I guess this one kid said it's going to be Florida all over again at the school at Durfee.
Florida Part 2.
Yeah, Florida Part 2. And so a lot of parents were concerned, a lot of kids were concerned. And there was a lot of heightened security at school the day after the events in Florida happened. So that was sad. And, you know, I don't know. The school shootings is happening way more frequently. Columbine used to be kind of like, that was such a huge thing back in the 90s because you just didn't see that all the time. Now you go to Florida, and I'm pretty sure there's been a shooting in Florida at least once or twice a year, you know? Not just at a school, but at a church or whatever. It just seems to be happening more frequently down there for whatever reason.
Then you have
Trayvon Martin, all that stuff.
Yeah, remember there was also the Virginia Tech shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, that was another one.
That was huge.
That was kind of just like unreal.
And now it's becoming more commonplace. You're starting to see these gun things get more, brought out to the public more. And again, we live in social media land now, so everything happens in an instant. If I want news, I don't even go to news sites anymore. I go to Twitter. I just go on Twitter. I type in what I want to know about, and next thing you know, there's 55 stories about it, all kinds of things going on. I can read about anything I want, and it's instant now. It used to not be, and now it is. Mm-hmm. And because it's so instant, and because everyone's always so quick to go, the chance for misinformation and conspiracy theorists and all that starts to come out out of the woodwork. Mm-hmm. Would you say? Yeah. Now, every time there's a shooting, I don't think anything was worse than Sandy Hook. That was just horrible, right?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
But every time there's a shooting now, there's a conspiracy theorist out there saying that this didn't really happen. I can show you on social media that there's people out there that don't believe Florida happened a few days back. They don't believe it happened. They think it was a setup. Because ultimately, the gun laws, the advocates to keep gun laws the way they are continually doing the same pattern. Because every time there's a shooting, there's always a group of people saying that didn't happen. This is a ploy by the government to take away our guns. And and I heard, I think before we started, you were telling me that there's a lot of talk right now on social media about, people fighting against gun laws and stuff like that.
The whole thing about assault rifles, ban assault rifles, Here's the thing. Do you realize that, and just because AR-15s are the ones that were being used in this, do you realize that an AR-15, categorically speaking, is not an assault rifle? Or has the ability to be created so it doesn't have to be an assault rifle? Just think about that. An assault rifle has to have specific criteria, and I legit had it on my phone. And I'm hoping I still have it. There is specific criteria that a gun needs to have. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let me see if I still have it. I gotta find it. Hold on. Sorry, guys.
In the meantime, while he's doing that, I got the article here about the young man. His name is Keyshawn Workman, and he's the one who did the shooting today. I'm sorry, he's the one who did the shooting this week on South Main Street. Unfortunately, 19 years old. Ridiculous.
All right, I found it.
Go ahead, man.
So there are basically, if you take a look at the definition of what the U.S. Army defines as an assault rifle, it's short, compact, selective fire weapons that fire a cartridge intermediate in power between submachine gun and rifle cartridges. Mm-hmm. So basically, can't be a pistol. Now, a firearm has, in order to say it is a assault rifle, by the definition of the U.S. Army, these four criteria need to, at least these four points need to be met. Must be capable of selective fire, which means it has to be, it could be semi-automatic, fully automatic, or just single shot. Must have intermediate power cartridge, meaning it has to have a magazine that can hold more than what a pistol can hold, which is usually 10 rounds. Ammunition must be supplied from a detachable box machine. Once again, magazine. Or if it has a what do you call those? Shoot, I can't think of what you call them. Like the strips that you just light and then you just let it run. Can't think of what that called right now, off the top of my head. And then of course it has to have an effective range of at least 300 meters. So those four criteria, amongst other things, need to be true for it to be an assault rifle. So when you hear the term assault rifle in this type of gun or in that type of gun, do the homework. I mean, does an AR-15 have at least 300? Does it have 300 meters of accuracy? I mean, or any gun. I mean, that's the definition of the U.S. Army. Now, I mean, I'll kind of take that definition because it's the U.S. Army. Mm-hmm. I mean, people can take it for whatever they wish, though. But to me, if you're going to start making laws and trying to push this to the people who own these things, dude, my question to you is that when you're doing your checks to see if someone should be able to buy a gun, they should be fully vetted. I mean, dude, on an application, have you had a history have you had a history of been in a mental hospital or something like that, or do you have mental issues? That stuff should be checked, not just no. You say no, okay, cool, no. And even with the stricter gun laws, that's not stopping anybody from getting a gun. If I wanted to get a gun tomorrow, I guarantee you, there's a way to do it. Somebody would be willing to do it. So the stricter gun laws aren't going to really do anything for you. Mm-hmm. And I believe we've said it before, you got to enforce the ones you currently have. Because if you can't enforce these, what's a new law going to do? And you're not enforcing it. Mm-hmm. Done.
So the kid that got shot in Fall River, his name is Maurice Timberlake. Got a photo of him here. So he was only 24 years old. So you're looking at a 19-year-old that threw his life away and a 24-year-old that already had his life taken away. Not sure if any of these guys were stand-up citizens in the community or whatever, but it just shows that we're in a situation, man.
Yeah.
Somehow I typed up Maurice Timberlake and I put it in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Right? And I go to the image section, and somehow, some way, we got Barry Richards over here just hanging out in the corner.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe it's because he wrote.
Yeah, he's reporting. He's reporting the.
He probably reported it
yeah.
on the WBSM website. Yep. So
it's interesting, though, huh?
It is interesting.
Pull things up a certain way. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so if you scroll down, probably it's by him. So.
Yeah.
Oh no, Taylor Cormier.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't know.
WBSM has really been kicking it up a notch with Barry Richards over there.
I agree.
Yeah, they've been doing good work over there. Although he is a big Trump guy, and I am not a Trump guy. I can tell you that much right now. Yeah, I'm just throwing.
On.
Anyway, I like Barry though. Let me get back to, if you don't mind, I would like to. Do you know that they are trying to make a railroad track?
Yeah, I heard about that.
From Fall River.
Why are you getting so soft-voiced?
And they're gonna go to Boston with this thing. Have you heard about this?
Dude, they've been trying to do this for years.
Years? Really?
I'd say at least a decade.
A decade. Wow.
So can we finally say it's a decade in the making?
I gotta tell you something. I've tried to put together a train track in my own house, and it probably took me about a decade to actually get it done. What? So I can understand. I'm just saying, Derek. I can understand why it's taken the city and the state so long to actually get this done. That's all I'm saying. I can relate with the state. That rhymed.
Wow.
All right?
Good for you.
You're welcome, man. So they're trying to put together this rail track thing.
I can't.
Why?
I can't take you seriously, dude.
Why?
Because I just can't.
Why?
Because I can't take you seriously.
They're trying to put together this rail track thing, Derek.
Yep. Yes, they are.
So what's up with that?
I guess it's just another way to get people to and from.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So let's piece it all together then.
Go ahead. just like the railroad that you try to piece together in your home.
Exactly. It took me about 10 years. Got it.
So it's gonna take this week. Dude, we only have about 33 minutes, so we have to speed it up.
All right. So all jokes aside, I've never actually owned a train track set.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
And I don't think it's a rail track thing. I was just joking as well.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't really necessarily. It's been hard for me to understand. Why it's so important, why they think this is going to open up so much for the city. I actually think that it could possibly assist in the shipping down and the gentrification of other areas around us that they've pushed on Fall River and the other, quote, gateway cities.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
That's what it seems like to me. A lot of people thinking this is going to open up an opportunity for travel and things like that, but if people want to go to Boston, they can get to Boston. They don't have to take a train. Mm-hmm. It's not the most complicated process in the world.
Agreed.
And, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to go up there, but aren't we trying to build Fall River?
Yes, we are.
So, what, people are going to come from Boston, a tourist destination, to come down to Fall River as a tourist destination?
Dude, we got the battleship.
Speaking of the battleship.
I knew I was going to leave this.
No. I posted on my social media a couple of days ago that actually was what somebody else posted on Group at Fall River.
I know, that's why I knew this was going to come this way.
Right. Well, wait a minute. So, people happened to take notice of the piles of trash that was in this photo, right? Mm-hmm. It was all litter and nastiness and whatever else that got accumulated at the Heritage State Park parking lot.
Can we put emphasis on the middle term of that?
State.
State. Okay.
Everybody plays the jurisdiction game when it's time to clean up. Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Derek, let me ask you a question.
Oh boy. Go ahead.
How many politicians have you seen throughout the years use Heritage State Park in their photos?
I can think of one just recently.
Exactly. But so many.
A lot.
No one talks about jurisdiction when they're getting something out of it.
Of course.
But the minute blame gets placed. Now, granted, if I've seen Jazel Correa a million times take a photo in front of the battleship in Heritage State Park, right? Mm-hmm. You would think that if there's a problem in Heritage State Park, I can call the guy that's taking his photos over there, right? Mm-hmm. Or I could call a city councilor or anybody, right? Any of them, right? No. Although I will say this. Jen Andread, chief of staff, thumbs up. She contacted me many, many times throughout that whole process. Let me know that Mike Roderick's guys were going to go down there and clean up. Let me know that, they're aware of the situation and all that. And I think she was telling a lot of other people that too as well. So, and Mike Roderick's guys did go down there yesterday. And they did most of the good cleaning. They did. We went out there. We probably accumulated about 4 bags, but we were spread out. We went all the way around the area to clean up a little bit more. No, not neighborhood, but the area a little bit more to clean up. So it was good. It was good. But somebody did bring that up to me. They're like, you know what? It's funny. Nobody wanted to take responsibility at first, and it was all, oh, it's the state, it's this, it's that, and the other. But nobody has a problem taking their political photos down there every chance they get.
Yeah, but you got to look at that whole post though. That whole post was, this is an abomination. This is horrible. This is why Fall River is this. This is why Fall River is that. This is everybody. Everybody had an opinion about how it looked and who was to blame and why is this like that.
You know what my favorite part is, Derek? I'll tell you after. But go ahead, keep going.
But here's the problem. How many of those people that actually had an opinion on how that all looked showed up to clean?
I had about 6 people.
All right, 6. Okay, yeah. You had 6 people. How many comments did that post have?
4? 5? No, there was more than 4 or 5 comments on it.
Dude, there was like 400 to 500. I don't know. I'm assuming that hold on.
I forgot to add a couple of zeros. My bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
So everybody's playing the moral card, saying this is horrible, this is bad, people do this, and yet 6 people who actually now have the right to say anything they want showed up, and the other 100 or so that made a comment can't say jack. Because they didn't clean it up.
Do you know what my favorite posts are? Because, all right, we've been doing this for a while, Derek.
Yes.
We've done hundreds of cleanups, literally hundreds of cleanups. We know that these posts come and go on Facebook all the time. I have to say, my favorite posts are the guys that go up there and they're like, get the welfare guys out there to clean them up. That is the funniest thing. Wherever they get this energy from to start talking about people, other people should get off their butts and do this and that. Unbelievable.
One of the best comments I read was, get the guys from the prisons, they'll clean it up. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Pull them out of the jail cell.
Dude, I can't even talk like that. I don't know
Give him a grabber.
Holy hell.
We talk about personal responsibility quite a few times on this podcast. Yeah. And I think obviously I don't know what it is, I'm not sure, because littering has been a problem in the world for, way before I was ever around. But I just think there has to be some kind of mechanism out there that holds people accountable for how much they're throwing all over the place. I understand it's going to happen from time to time. A napkin flies out of your car or whatever. I don't know. But I just think it's nuts. Absolutely nuts, the amount of trash. Like, go to Rookcliffe Apartments right now.
Oh no, I know.
You walk by that fence, man.
And how many times has that been?
That's a dump.
Dude, and that's been cleaned up at least twice or 3 times.
I've been there 4 times myself.
All right, 4 times.
No, I've been there 4 times. 2 with the Angels.
1 before that.
1 before the Angels started.
And then probably once after.
So I think I've been there like 5 times when I think about it.
It's ridiculous.
Because I've been there a couple of times just on my own with a handful of people. Unbelievable. It's a dumping ground. And I'm thinking, like, come on, there's got to be something that we can do to keep an eye on things, because it accumulates to looking like a dump, an absolute dump.
If you remember correctly, I want to say it was last year. You remember how they had that whole 79 project, that whole byway all redone, and it was all looking nice, and then the state never maintained it, and it was all overgrown, and articles went up on Facebook, and pictures went up, and within 2 days, guess who came down and cleaned it up? The state, because they were the ones that knew they screwed up, and they fessed up to it, and they fixed it.
There is so much value in social media when it comes to these kind of things. So much value.
Right, but here's the point: it took a person to take a picture. To put it on social media.
Thousands of people can see it.
Then another person shared it. And then it went to like the Fall River, what was that? What's the website? Fall River Development website, Facebook page. The one that always talks about where, this restaurant's opening, this is happening here. It took them to do that. And then it just doesn't stop there. It never stops there. And then you have government, our city council. Let's put something in the book so we can get these people here, and they can say, all right, here's what we're gonna do to keep.
A task force?
No. They're gonna put a resolution in to say, let's invite these people from the state down to say, to let us know what happened and how we're gonna not have this happen again.
Okay.
So wait a minute. It took all of that for somebody to finally put in a resolution to get answers?
If there's political gain to be made, and I got accused of posting on my Facebook page for political gain, but if there is political gain to be made out of these things, that's when you can tell that there is political gain to be made when you start seeing some of these.
Of course.
But I can't point that finger to political gain all the time. They are probably listening to a group of constituents out there that are saying, you need to do something. So I give them credit for actually trying to do something. You got to give them credit for doing something, at least.
But I wonder how long it was before they actually did something. It took going on social media. It took somebody. It took a Facebook page to really put like a pretty bad smear campaign on the whole thing.
Yep.
People got down about 2 days later, cleaned it all up. It looked really good, and now all of a sudden, now we have to do our part in saying how we're going to keep it this way. it comes all back, and this all circles around back to why I have a problem with this brand new Durfee building. Because this is what's going to happen.
Well, you just brought it all the way back.
I did.
You brought it all the way
I
back.
matlocked this thing, and it took an hour 38 to do it.
Yes. I love matlock.
I know. We learned this last time. But this is what it's going to take. Kids are going to go into this school. Something's going to happen on the inside where it's going to, something's going to break. Something needs a lot of attention. Something needs maintenance. And then we're going to be like, where's the maintenance plan? Whereas the city,
I'd like to know where the contracts are going to go for maintenance too.
Here's what's going to happen. Whereas the BMC Durfee High School of Fall River was just recently built, and whereas there has been within 1 year there has been deteriorated a deteriorating environment. Be it resolved that the subcommittee of finance is going to look to have answers on blah 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 blah.
Whereas the state-of-the-art building has now become the city-of-the-art building.
City-of-the-art?
It's downgraded to state from what? What's the matter?
Wow.
You like that?
That was the worst thing I've ever heard you say.
I have no worst. I can do so much worse than that.
That was horrible.
I was shooting for horrible.
There's a whole level of horrible that we haven't even gotten to that I think you just dug into.
Yeah. What's the problem with that?
My God, don't ever do that again.
Welcome to my show. My show.
My show.
You like that?
Wow.
I like that. I'm taking ownership.
So the next time that Nikki and I say that we can't make it,
I'll do this whole thing by myself.
I can't wait.
I'll do a 4-hour show by myself.
Liar.
I can't. I don't have the time to do that.
You won't even. Here's what's gonna happen. You'll do an hour and you'll be like, peace.
Bored now.
Do you really get bored of listening to yourself talk? I don't. I can listen to myself talk forever.
I can tell.
I know.
No, I think I could pull it a 2-hour show. But even people that do 2-hour shows have commercials and breaks. I think
and guests.
Yeah, I would need some type of intermission or something like that. But I like doing the show when Mike's here. I like doing that. I miss Ed. I don't know. I think Ed is kind of avoiding right now because I'm my position on the school. I think, but
I don't think he's avoiding.
I don't know. He hasn't been coming on the show. I'd love for him to come on the show because then it gives a different perspective. I think all three of us, me, you, and Nikki, don't really want to vote yes on this. Whereas Ed was a part of the process that to get the school out there. So I would love to have him on to talk about it.
We can reach out to him for next week.
And get his perspective on it. But I don't know. He knows he can come here anytime. I tell him all the time. So
I mean, I'll reach out to him for next week. I'll see if he do it next week.
I hope so. I hope he comes. He's not going to get blasted. I'm not here to blast anybody. I wouldn't even know how to blast them anyway. You have your opinions on why you want the school and why you think it's worth it to go over the tax threshold. I have my opinions as to why I don't think we should go over the tax threshold. That's really all it's about. We can still be friends. We could still respect each other's positions and everything. It doesn't have to be, a knockdown, drag out. That's one thing that's been going on, Derek. It's been one big extreme, group after another going after each other. And it gets personal too, right? Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It doesn't have to get that way.
Wait, is this?
Here's a pen if you need to write something down.
All right, go ahead. Keep going.
Anyway, I've always been like that. When it came to the when it came to the recall, when it came to everything, you can still say, quote, I disagree with you without having to insult people, without having to bring them to a place or bring yourself to a place of disrespect. I just think we can still stay above board and still have conversations about this. I've had multiple conversations with Melissa Panchley about this. She's a big yes on this. I'm a big no on this. But I don't hate her. I don't have a problem with her. And most of the time, I like talking to her, even if we have opposing opinions on things. So we should be able to continue that kind of dialogue and that kind of discussion and still be respectful to each other. And I mean, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Edward Costa because, in my opinion, there's 4 stars. You see these 4 stars on here. He's one of those 4 stars. I'm always gonna want his input, and I value it very much. So, what's up? Let me see this.
So I think I've just figured out a way that we can pay for the school.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, we have this big lawsuit against the big pharmaceutical
Oh my
company.
goodness, this dude. Cannot believe this guy.
Come on, dude. Seriously. That's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna have the.
You know what we could do? Go off the heels of the ridiculousness here. You know what we could do? We can that revenue when we get the Pawtucket Red Sox into Fall River. Oh no! When we get the Olympics into Fall River. When we get the Olympics into Fall River, Derek, that's when we can pay for this.
Hey, dude, rowing in the Southwood Tupper, man. You never know.
Jeez, I don't. Big fun. No, you know, I'm not even kidding. When I saw that HBO special, like, we talked about this, but when I saw the HBO special, out in, what was it, on Hyannis?
Yeah, I think so.
It was out in the Cape, basically.
Yes.
And they were talking about, it was an HBO special about the drug problem in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and they showed a figure that we raised. I think the pharmaceutical company raised about $6 billion a year, something like that. Just an unfathomable
That's right.
amount of money. And it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy to me. But, so to me, it's just like,
Don't say it.
I was about to say it,
Oh, man.
just because I read it and it was in front of me. But no, I think that they have an obligation. The pharmaceutical companies have an obligation to fund states and cities that have at least so many of an amount of problems with drugs. I mean, I understand that. Again, we talk about personal responsibility. We talk about people are, you know, they have the decision to make to get hooked on these drugs. But I think there's got to be some level of responsibility from the pharmaceutical companies that make money off this addiction.
Doesn't Big Tobacco fund programs to potentially get people to quit smoking?
I know that I brought that up a few shows ago, but yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
So why is big pharmacy exempt from this?
You're not seeing, unless I'm wrong, and I don't know if there's probably something I can go out there and read, but I never did the research on this, but I am going to make a guess that the tobacco companies are not supporting individual people who are addicted to cigarettes from getting off drugs, meaning that they're not going to give states and cities money to, recover from cigarette smoke. I think they help with the ads, and they may fund some programs out there in the country, but I don't know if they've got a partnership with a state to fund, centers that help with addiction, things like that. But they should. I think they should.
I think some of that money should go that route.
Or, and this is the big thing, maybe they should fund nursing agencies to give people their opioids rather than just giving them to the pharmaceuticals where someone can get them in bulk and start selling them on the street.
So basically they have to go somewhere in order to get their prescription.
They either go to a dispensary or they can pay, if there's a person that pays for a nursing agency for whatever care, usually it's older people or disabled people, then they can flip that bill.
Well, I mean,
$6 billion.
I like the idea of having somebody being able to go to someone's house and admit. But the problem is now you are now putting yourself you're becoming a mobile target.
Oh, that's exactly right. So now you have to have security around these nurses, man. It's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. It's crazy. But yeah,
you've just become a mobile target because now let's just say, for example, I know that this person has the drug that I want.
Absolutely.
What's stopping me from going after him?
It's like going after a Brinks truck for some people.
Exactly.
Seriously.
That's exactly what it is, and I can see where that's where the problem lies. So it's tough to do that. It really is tough to do that, and nothing is stopping anybody from filling these scripts, dealing with the pain, and selling them off afterwards. Because you know what? If we're gonna be completely honest with
everyone, because they can collect all their pills and not take them, and then sell them off. That'd be crazy. But yeah,
I mean that's unthinkable.
Yeah.
There's no way anybody would ever do that.
No, I'm just saying it's crazy, but yeah, they would do it.
Of course. No shit. No kidding. That's. I mean, but that I was just being facetious. I know, but
it's not welcome here.
I'm wrong. Okay, Mr. City of the Art.
That was beautiful.
That was horrible.
That's what makes it beautiful. All right, keep going.
Wow. I got nothing else to say.
Good, that sounds good. You'll have plenty more to say, I'm sure. So the last time you and I had a conversation,
that was a long time ago.
Yours truly, Trot
Joseph Lee,
whatever you want to say, believed that your New England Patriots, would win the Super Bowl. Relatively easy.
Right.
Mine was like 34-17, something like that.
Sure.
Came with a little bit of a stipulation. Who knew that Bill Belichick was going to sit somebody on the sideline and compromise the entire defense? Who knew? We scored 33 points. Got our point total the way we, if it was Price is Right, I was just under by $1. But who knew that Malcolm Butler would have to sit this one out for no reason? He was crying during the national anthem.
Hmm?
Unbelievable.
And he was.
Instead of kneeling. And we still don't know to this day what happened.
I mean, it depends on which story you want to believe.
When you were watching the game, what was going through your mind?
A whole bunch of nothing, because honestly I was in disbelief in the fact that we were actually losing to those guys. However, I did say
you're gonna find some way to be right. Look at your whole body language right now. I don't like any of this. I don't like any of this.
I did say that it wasn't going to be a walk in the park, and that I believed that Philly could do it. I was right.
You were very silent the whole time. You didn't want to say anything. I have it on video.
Well, actually, you have it on audio, but that's another story. Because there's no video. Just audio.
There's video of the photo City Talk forever on there.
But anyway, I'm just saying that I did say that Philadelphia had a chance.
No.
Yes, I did.
I'm just saying, if we had our full team out there like we were supposed to, it compromised the whole coverage package. You ended up putting Rowe in a position he's not effective, and taking him out of a position where he was effective as a slot defender. He was completely out of his element, and they were just throwing all over him. Mm-hmm. They just targeted him left and right.
I agree.
It was horrible. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, this call, that call. The only call I was upset about was they didn't give a penalty to that dude that just completely went helmet to helmet on
Cooks.
Yes, on Brandon Cooks. That was bad.
See, I agree with that. However, if you go with the letter of the rule,
mm-hmm.
because he was now since he caught the ball and he's already made a full play, he's now considered a runner. Mm-hmm. So at that point,
no, you still can't hit helmet to helmet on it.
I think that it was just the way he was running and the way he came in, and it just.
And the weird thing is, to me, it's like
you can easily say that.
How many? That was the second week in a row that a defender targeted someone's head on the Patriots and took him out of the game completely.
Right, because Gronk was the one.
Yeah, I was just kind of, we're called the cheaters all day long, right? Patriots call the cheaters all day long, but yet guys are just taking our guys out of the game, some of our best players out of the game with headshots, and no one's saying anything. Isn't that weird? It's interesting.
I still have the one call that I had the issue with was the touchdown by Clement. I really don't believe that was a touchdown, but.
What? Because the football came out of his hand when he dropped it on.
No, that was Ertz. Nope, that was
the one in the back of the end zone.
Yes, I
felt like he was bobbling it.
I believe that should not have been a touchdown. But you know what? Look, you can't just put that. You can't put that. You had Gostkowski who missed 2 extra points and a field goal. That's 5 points. When you had those 5 points, when we were up, I believe we were up a point or two. that makes a big difference, and it puts a big thing on the psyche of the other team where now they have to be forced to score. There was definitely blown opportunities. And like I said, I'm in the same cube with the Philadelphia Eagles fan, and you know what? Leading up to that game, we didn't say a word. After the game, I shot out a message saying, "Congratulations, team played well, well deserved."
Team
played well, well deserved.
Team well.
Yeah.
Well, you make fun of me when I talk.
That's
so
fine.
Keep going.
I can take it.
Okay.
I'm not like you.
School of the Art.
City of the Art.
I like School of the Art now. All right. So anyway.
Wow, I wasn't even. Wow.
So anyway, I got one more thing to say about sports. One more thing about sports. I like to call somebody out.
Who are you gonna call us?
Isaiah Thomas.
Mr. IT4?
Mr. IT4. Mr. Fourth Quarter. King of the fourth quarter. First of all, I want to put out a disclaimer. I do feel bad for him, what he went through with his family last year. Obviously, that's awful. But the man has not been handling himself very well since he got hurt and left the Celtics. He goes to Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Starts yip-yapping about, like, people on his team in the locker room. He was there for, like, 5 games.
Has he even played a game yet?
He's played some games, but it's like, he's still recovering from his injury, but he's still talking like he's the king of the team. There's a guy named LeBron James on that team, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe his nickname is...
King James. He is actually going out there playing well, while Isaiah is completely playing like garbage, and he gets traded to the Lakers. He only played 15 games. It was still in recovery from his injury. But the problem that I have with Isaiah Thomas is that when he got hurt in Boston, he started complaining about how he's not going to get his contract because he was in a contract year. But he got hurt. And when you get hurt in a contract year, you are not in position to tell anybody, way, shape, or form
to back up the Brinks truck.
Back up the Brinks truck. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You need to keep your mouth shut. You can learn something from Bill Belichick every once in a while. The guy might know what he's talking about. Keep your mouth shut, recover, and go out there and play basketball when you're fully healthy and earn that check. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. He yip-yapped when he was hurt in Boston. He yip-yapped when he was in Cleveland recovering. And then he goes to the LA Lakers, and he didn't even play a minute yet. I'm not coming off the bench. I'm not coming off the bench. Yeah, you're coming off the bench. You're not in a position to say anything to anyone. You were on the Boston Celtics and you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They don't put Eastern Conference Final banners up in Boston. You didn't win a championship. So I actually support Rajon Rondo and slapping him around a little bit. That was actually kind of fun to watch a little bit. Mm-hmm. And and then, this is the worst of it all. The worst of it all. When he was in Cleveland, they were supposed to play Boston. They actually played him last week. That last week was Paul Pierce night. Mm-hmm. They were doing a tribute to Paul Pierce. Guess who wanted to have his own little ceremony at halftime? Isaiah Thomas. Go home, Isaiah. You're done. You're done. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not collect the Brinks truck. You are done. And on that note, everybody, thank you for listening.
I can't. I'm sorry, but
that was good.
I mean, who did this kid think he is?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I liked Isaiah. When he was a Celtic, I was all about Isaiah Thomas. I'm done with Isaiah Thomas. I'm done. Anyway, that was my little sports moment.
He'll be back in 3 years, and you'll be all about him again.
If he becomes king of the fourth again, I'll be like, hey, man, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. Isaiah. But anyway, that's how big of a Celtics fan I am. I'm willing to forgive and forget. As far as cleanups go, the weather's still. I think we're gonna get some pretty good snow this weekend.
I was supposed to get some snow today.
So when the weather gets better, I'm planning on doing something every other week. I'd like to do it opposite of Joe Primo's kitchen because I'd still like to volunteer at Joe Primo's kitchen. But be on the lookout. We're going to probably put some cleanups together every other weekend. What was cool about this thing was that when social media got lit up on fire over this thing at Heritage Park. People went down there before we got down there and started cleaning up. So sometimes when you just make a reference that you're gonna go do something and other people jump in and do it before you, the job still gets done.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As long as the job gets done, that's all I care about. So yeah. We're gonna start doing some of these things. I think Rowcliffe is just gonna be on the rotation because that is just unacceptable. I mean, that is just ridiculous over there. Awful,
dude. For Rowcliffe, I think it's going to take a lot because you have a lot of overgrowth over there. You have brush. You have people that just keep dumping stuff.
Needles.
Unfortunately, the whole thing with needles. We need to at least get the help of somebody that's a little bit more than just the regular citizen. We need to do something about that.
Well, we can talk to the state rep about that. You know, we could talk to state senator about that. Maybe we can just say, hey, you know, citizens want to do something. We want to get involved. Provide us with the resources to do it. You know, that's our tax money too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I so let's get it going. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully Nikki will be back next week. Are you going to be back next week? You do your pool tournament stuff sometimes.
I should be good. Right. There's no pool tournaments coming up, so I should be good for next week unless something changes.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Take care.
Woo!